Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Article Reactions. Some of the articles will be informative, some will be shocking, and some may just make you shake your head. We will be starting shortly. You do have the opportunity to financially support the channel in order to help it grow. So, in the very least of that manner, please like, share, and subscribe. Join Char Willie and Classic Ruby for their radio show, Keep the Beat. They broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CRBJ, Classic R&B Jams. There are discussions of the songs, and that can take you back down memory lane. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. Replays are uploaded on Mixcloud. So, follow JustAskChar Advice channel on Mixcloud and you will receive the notification when these broadcasts are uploaded. So, thank you everyone for joining the show. We are about to get started.
Greetings. Welcome, everyone. How are you? Welcome back to another article reaction. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I really appreciate you. How was your Saturday? Have you noticed that you have a little sunshine still left, everybody? Yeah. You know why? Because you had to spring forward. And hopefully you have sprung forward and enjoyed the sunshine, because you can't get that hour back. It's gone. It's gone. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, because there's nothing you can do about it. But anyway, I'm hoping you're enjoying your day. And thank you so much again for your time, your support. I definitely appreciate you guys. Also, I'll say quickly before we get started where's my notes? I got notes. I don't remember all this. I do so much for everybody. Okay. Not sure where you are, but ComEd and People Gas is offering financial assistance to those that need it. So they're not just leaving you out there, okay? Because there's a lot of people that's going to be dealing with a lot of things as it get warmer. And I'll mention a couple of them things when we get started. Yeah. So let me see, where is my other thing here? My sound effect. We got to give the woman what she deserves. You know how we do it. What we gonna give her today? Are we gonna get hype? Let's get hype today. I think it'll be a little loud, but let's get hype today, okay? So without further ado, you know what to do. Stand up, everyone. Raise your hands up in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. You know why? Because Classic Ruby is here, everybody. Classic.
What? Hi, people! Yeah, no, seriously, I hear like that whole background and everything. The club's bouncing, the lights are flashing. I feel special. How you doing this Saturday, Char?
I am well. How are you?
I'm miserable as hell because this spring forward thing does not work for me at all. I'm telling you, my system, like during fall back, I'm good. right? Like it's like my life gets energized by that extra hour. When I lose that hour, my life is ruined for like 60 days. My body just can't, it just can't deal with it. It just can't. I don't know. I'm gonna do my best, y'all. I'm gonna do my best. But I'm telling y'all, I'm not at 100%. I'm more like at 17%.
Oh, wow.
Right? I know. It's sad. Maybe 60%, you know, for the 60 minutes I lost today. All right.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, hopefully it'll get better. Hopefully. I'm wishing it for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Fingers
I
crossed.
really am.
Deeply crossed. I'm trying.
Well, yesterday I mentioned that, you may have a new president. I did, hint at that. And there's a little joke going around, and I thought I'll share that with you guys first thing. And, Trump Jr., he's a little petty. Didn't know he was that petty, but hey, I'll share it with you guys. I have no shame. I'm surprised it's still on Twitter. I'm kind of happy about it. I'm like, at least it'll be ready for my show tonight. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, Petty Trump Jr., everybody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Petty.
Love it.
Yeah, he had that petty going. He said, "Wasn't no wins. It was his dad playing golf that did it." Ain't that so? Yeah, they talking about him. It's trending, and they talking about him. They're like, "You're cruel. You're so cruel." We call that pete. Shame.
Love it.
Well, what do you have for us today, my lady?
Oh, girl. Man, there was too much. It was like the news was inundating me with things. Like I had to like basically do like a survivor thing. Like, only the top 5 are gonna survive. So woo, I don't even know where. You know what? Should I start on a light note, on a dark? You know what? Nah, I'm gonna start on one of the darker notes because I want to save my Karen for later. Because y'all know I work very hard and I will find a Karen as much as I can. So let's start with this story, y'all. I gotta say, and I'm gonna say this, and I understand human beings. Sometimes we get caught in a mental trap where we're so busy defending something that we forget to use like logic. And I get that to an extent. But I heard one too many people stand up and defend this man in this situation. So let's talk about it today. Okay.
Okay.
And so for those of y'all who did not hear about it, I'll give you a little bit of an intro first. So a stimulus check argument led to an Indianapolis quadruple murder. Let's listen to the video first. And then I will get into some history and some background on our half acre. That's how his name is spelled. So that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Half acre in his history.
Hiding inside the attic of a house on the east side Sunday afternoon. The family of his alleged 59 knew.
They also have love and lots of prayers from this community as well. The family says they are now trying to raise enough money to have a funeral service for each of the family members.
All right. So that's the story in a nutshell. Okay. Now I'm going to clarify exactly what happened to begin with. Okay. Now you heard about the incidents where he said slash her tires and put sugar in her car, sugar in her gas tank, sorry, and how he shot up her car. Okay. This was not in relation to the stimulus check. This was prior to the stimulus check. And so she had been obviously dating him. She conceived a child, the youngest child, the baby, with him. And he proved to be a very jealous and violent person. Now, I know that some of y'all like to say, oh, you guys always say that, you always pin that on men and whatever. Well, don't worry. We are going to get into when he was in the news last. That has nothing to do with a woman or this situation, to prove that he is a violent person who should have been in prison and the system failed. But okay, fine. So on two separate, they don't tell us what the arguments were about, but she had an argument with him, found her tires slashed and her tank full of sugar in one incident. And the other incident, he shot 8 times, 8 bullets into her car. 8. Okay, so
Wow.
to understand, he's a very violent, angry felon who should not have a gun. He's not carrying one legally. Not carrying one legally. At that point, she got a restraining order against him. But as the family said, she was afraid to, kind of cut off all ties. And also because they share a child, she didn't want to say, well, my kid can't have access to her father and whatever. So it was an iffy situation. But no, he didn't live there. He wasn't taking care of her or his kid. She didn't owe him anything in that way. That stimulus check that came was her stimulus check for her. Had nothing to do with him. And he didn't provide anything financially and hadn't been living in the home or with her like that for a long enough period of time that no one can say, well, some of it should have gone to him, because that's the argument I heard. But fine. So he comes and he demands half of her stimulus check. Her stimulus check. Even from his words, he says her stimulus check. Never said he actually had rights to it. He just wanted it. Okay? It's one of those people. And so after she said, no, you don't deserve any of this. I work hard. I'm the one who takes care of our child. You don't do anything. He said, well, I really want half. And so she said, listen, I'll give you $450. Okay? That's about a quarter. That's still more than he deserves by far. Actually, it's over a quarter, really. It's almost a third. But fine, I'll give it to you. Right? Take it or leave it. And he said, I'm going to get that money. And this was the day before. So then he comes back the next day and he starts going through her purse. Okay? Starts going through her stuff, trying to find the stimulus check. And her brother, that would be the 23-year-old Daquan Moore. This is another black man, y'all, in case you're missing it. Stands up and says, you can't take her stuff, like, understand y'all are having this battle and whatnot, but you can't just take her stuff from her. And so he shoots the brother. Right? Now, there is also the cousin that's there, 35-year-old Anthony Johnson. He shoots Anthony Johnson as well. Then the baby, the 7-year-old, so she also has an older daughter. The 7-year-old starts crying. So he goes and shoots the 7-year-old. He hears the mama on the phone in the back room, goes to the back room to go find the auntie and shoots her. Okay? That's 44-year-old Tamika Brown. Right. Then he grabs his purse, tells the baby mom to grab the baby. They go install the baby in the car, right? And then he goes back into the house and he shoots Anthony Johnson again. Anthony Johnson had been crawling. He had moved from where he originally was. So he shoots Anthony Johnson again, okay? And at that time, Genetrius, that's the baby mom, right? She runs away to go get help. And she was shot in the back at this point, but managed, luckily, to run away to go get help. And then he takes the baby. He drops the baby off at his sister's house. And then he goes and hides at his friend's house. Okay. And so that is where they were able to find him now. And they used some gas, whatever, got him out. Okay. That's the point. So remember I said, I'm going to prove, no. This is a violent man, okay, who was violent ahead of time, and he should have been in prison. Should have been in prison. The fact that he's not in prison tells you that the system seriously failed. And so I have way too many tabs open. I should have opened one story at a time today. There's so many stories, like I said.
I know what you mean.
right? I'll flip through. I'll see his big ugly face and be like, oh, this guy. Here we go. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to show you why he should be in prison and how you know he's a violent, angry dude. Here we go. This is 2017. Okay. 2017. Let's just see there. Oh, suspect arrested for attempted murder after shooting man 5 times. Not 1, not 2, not 5 times, y'all. Okay.
Wow.
The fact that he wasn't in prison for murder. I mean, I'm sure y'all are wondering. On one side, I looked at this and I went, how did this happen? I mean, he's a black man, right? Okay. Well, let's listen to the story.
Okay.
So, an Indianapolis man has been arrested for attempted murder. Metro Police believe 23-year-old Malik Halfacre shot 23-year-old Ernest Tucker 5 times, okay, on the near northwest side Monday. The shooting happened in the 1700 block of Medford Avenue shortly after 3 p.m. Detectives believe Halfacre shot Tucker after he arrived at an ex-girlfriend's house to speak with her. Tucker was transported to IU Health Methodist Hospital by a friend, where he was last listed in critical but stable condition. Police say they quickly located Halfacre at his home and took him to IMPD headquarters for questioning. He was then arrested on a preliminary charge of attempted murder and transported to a arrestee processing center to be processed. Okay, cool. So I'm sure you're wondering to yourself, well, if that's true, okay, it is actually true. So a couple things happened. First is that the witness is also the victim. The witness survived. They said that there was basically some technical issues in court that excluded him from being able to be a witness on the stand against the person who shot him 5 times. Right. So as a result, Malik Halfacre got to plead guilty to pointing a firearm.
Oh.
Yeah. No attempted murder charge. They dropped the aggravated battery. They also dismissed the carrying a handgun without a license charge because he's not licensed. Okay. So
wow.
Exactly. So then he was sentenced to 730 days in jail with 240-day jail credit and 250-day suspension. Right. Right. So that's why this guy is out. I need y'all to understand that he's not out and about at this point in 2018 creating babies and whatnot because he wasn't a danger to society. It's because the system failed. And I mean, given the way that their mayor reacted, which was basically he refused to actually address the public. Can you imagine? Refused to address the public. He just sent a little letter saying, yeah, there's problems. People should own guns. That was the mayor's solution. People shouldn't own guns. It has nothing to do with the criminal justice system failing. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Weird.
Exactly. So I want y'all to understand when women say like, well, I'm afraid to just leave him and cut off all ties because I think he'll come back and kill me because that's the threat and he's violent, right? Understand that you might live somewhere where a woman calls the police and says, he's so violent, and they arrest him and now he's in prison for 25 years on assault with no evidence or whatever, right? Maybe you live somewhere like that. But please understand that places like this also exist because the police were contacted in the case where he shot into the car 8 times. He wasn't in prison. They declined to press charges because they didn't have effective evidence against him. They declined to prosecute. So understand, like I said, that the system fails a lot. And as a result, a 7-year-old child, 2 young men, and an older woman are all dead over a stimulus check. Over a stimulus check. And he admits it. He didn't say he didn't do it. He admits he did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sad. Just so sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess I'll do my story that where the system failed, because it did, for this young man. I had a story up last week, but didn't get a chance to get to it. And it had just been on my mind, because anytime where there's injustice, it just really bothers me. It weighs on me very heavily. And I had to really think, did I do the story? Did I do the story? Because I was just so upset and read about it. And I'm like, I might have did the story. I said, well, I'm just going to have to do it again. But this guy spent time in prison, and he should not have. The evidence was available, but they were slow in giving it to those that requested it, to the court. So the man he's suing Hertz for failing to produce receipt clearing him of murder until 3 years after it was requested. That is utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. You can't give this man his life back. You can't. That's a long time. No job is waiting for you. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. Oh, your seat is over there. Go ahead. Your office is waiting for you. It's right over there. We knew you would get out. We knew this would be all cleared up. No, that doesn't happen. At least not for us.
Mm-mm.
Herbert Alford was convicted of second-degree murder for the shooting death of Michael Adams in 2016 and was exonerated last year. A Michigan man is suing Hertz for not producing a rental car receipt in a timely manner that would have proven his innocence before he was convicted of a 2011 murder. Herbert Alford was convicted of second-degree murder for the shooting death of Michael Adams in 2016. However, Alford did not commit the crime, and the Hertz receipt proved it, his attorney, Jamie White, told People. The receipt showed that Alford was renting a car at an airport in Lansing, Michigan area around the time of the murder, which happened upward of 30 minutes from the airport, according to White. The evidence from Hertz was finally obtained in 2018 after several subpoenas over the course of 3 years, which led to Alford's exoneration in Ingham County last year, White said. In December, Ingham County prosecutor attorney Carol Seaman told the Lansing States Journal that the evidence from Hertz, which had not been available at the original trial date, was a key factor. We do not believe that we can prove Mr. Alford's legal culpability by the beyond a reasonable doubt standard, she wrote in a statement to the newspaper. Therefore, the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office is dismissing the case against Herbert Alford. Now, I can say at least by 2010, everything just about was digital. So why was this receipt not found? What took so long? I really need an explanation. It makes no sense at all. None.
No, they don't
And that
care.
man, tell me about it. And this man cannot get his life back. I hope he gets whatever he's asking for times 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be hard to start over. We already know it's already hard for our Black men. Anyway, they have it 3 times as worse. So whatever he's asking for, I want him to get 3 times that amount, tax-free.
Good luck. The sad part is, when I say that, it's not to say that I don't think he deserves it. I say it because they don't care. They do this at an alarmingly regular rate. Like, y'all think, you hear a couple times where they give like a settlement, right? And then you're like, oh, they must do a few of these, that's why they pay them out. No, only a few of them make it to the place where someone's finally getting a settlement.
That's
But it
true.
happens all the time, like all the time, terrifyingly. I mean, God, you had that young man who, I can't remember his name, the one he met Jay-Z and everything. People were trying to give him his life back, and he ended up killing himself with the horrors he experienced in prison, for not committing a crime. But he's young and black and walking to school with a backpack on his back, so it must have been him. No evidence. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing these stories. I'm tired of it. Because then on the flip note, what you'll hear so much of is, why can't these black men get their stuff together? Why can't the black community get its stuff together? You know why this is it. Dude, when we mention things like this, like the excessive over incarceration of our innocent men, and then they're just lost to languish in prison indefinitely, people act like we're over exaggerating, right? People act like it doesn't happen like that. Come on now. That's like what, 0.001%? Now I'm going to say about minimum 10%. Minimum.
Right. And then they'll say, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. So of course you don't see it. You don't see it because it doesn't affect you. You don't see it because you don't care, because it doesn't affect you. Because if it affected you, trust me, you would see it.
Right.
That's just what it is, right? Unfortunately, some people need that quote unquote wake up call, right? Where until it happens to them, until it happens to their family, right? Until it happens to their best friend, they know for a fact wasn't there. Then they're not going to open their eyes and really be like, oh my God, it does happen to regular people who did nothing wrong. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's kind of, this topic kind of leads me to one of my next stories. So I guess I'll go here. So now, and I don't know, y'all, it's been a while since we've talked about Tamir Rice. And I wanted to have this discussion because Tamir Rice's mother has been speaking out recently. And so before we go into the details of that and what she said, I just really want to quickly go over, just to refresh everyone's memories, what happened with Tamir Rice. Because his name has been used so regularly and frequently by Black Lives Matter that he's become a token instead of a person. So let's just take a look at this right here.
Okay.
And I like this one because it just kind of gives you the little captions here to clarify. So let's take a look. Now, if y'all remember, this was probably one of the first stories that really opened my eyes to how bad things still were in America specifically. Right? Look at that. That's it. Look, they're shooting. There's no discussion. There was no conversation. They were already shooting. This I didn't actually know. So that's his sister, and the police are tackling her. So she heard the gunshot. She looked. She saw her brothers down. She comes running. I didn't even know that his sister was there.
Me neither.
Right? So they're giving us the timeline. Right? Now, hold on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back. So I want y'all to just calculate in your head. Okay? So this is a 30-minute surveillance tape. I want y'all to calculate in your head as well the timing, right? So remember, first he was wandering around with his little pellet gun, which is clearly a toy, right? The police pull up, right? We know this part takes 2 seconds, right? It takes 2 seconds for you to murder a child who's holding a toy. Right? So this is now a minute and a half later, right? The sister comes running. He was not alone in this part. She gets tackled, okay? So we're at about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Okay, perfect. So that's 2 minutes. a boy is lying shot on the ground. 4 minutes later, Tamir receives assistance from an FBI agent in the neighborhood. Why was there an FBI agent in the neighborhood? I don't even know.
Interesting.
But okay. Right? 6 minutes. Okay, 8 minutes later, paramedics arrive. Okay, so that's 14 minutes. So it's 15 minutes now. That there's that boy. 13 minutes later, Tamir is taken away on a stretcher. So that's 27 minutes. So my first question, which is, why is there an FBI agent in the vicinity? Because why is there an FBI agent in the vicinity coming to help? Like
yes.
Right? I think that's strange. Secondly, what I think is really strange is, why didn't we ever hear that the sister was there?
I don't know. I didn't hear about it at all. Wow.
Ever. I've never heard of that. But I guess that's part of the issue when you become a token. When you become a token, no one cares about the finer details. And I mean, Tamir Rice has been a token for Black Lives Matter. So basically, two mothers, but Tamir Rice is probably the one that you will recognize the name of more. Tamir Rice's mother releases list of demands to those profiting off her son's tragic death. Okay. Samaria Rice, mother of Tamir Rice, and Lisa Simpson, mother of Richard Reicher, I don't know how to pronounce that, released a joint statement Tuesday decrying activists exploiting their children's tragic deaths to achieve fame. The mother called out a number of prominent names associated with the Black Lives Matter movement, including activist Shaun King, attorney Benjamin Crump, the Black Lives Matter Global Network, and activist and former Women's March organizer Tamika D. Mallory. So Mallory recently appeared in Little Baby's Grammy performance about police brutality and recited a poem calling for justice, equity, and freedom. The performance outraged Rice, who called Mallory a clout chaser in a Facebook post. In another post, Rice said, well, and sorry, excuse my French here, but this is the literal quote, said, "Fuck a Grammy when my son is dead." Kind of understand that. Can you imagine seeing Tamika Mallory up there, you know, doing this like it's like it was a play and not the truly tragic death of a young boy. And you're up there like what, for fame and fortune and popularity now? Like, nah, man. You can't use my kid. You didn't ask me. I just turn on the Grammys and I see this foolishness.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I totally understand. Now, interestingly enough, and we're not going to go into it today, but y'all can go look it up. Shaun King, felt compelled to write a blog gently telling Samaria Rice to knock it off and be nice to Mallory.
What the? I haven't heard his name in a while.
Oh, because see, that's the problem. They show up when there's something for them to get the fanfare from, right? And to raise the money and to do this and do that, but they don't actually care. They don't actually care. That's why you haven't heard. That's why you haven't heard of him in a while, because he doesn't care. All right, so let's keep going. Now, what in the world is this article doing? It's playing with me. My bad. Give me 1 second. You know how the internet acts sometimes. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Rice's son Tamir was shot and killed by a white Cleveland police officer in 2014. I just showed y'all the footage of that while he was playing in the park. Simpson's son, this is the other mother, Richard, was shot and killed by a police officer in Los Angeles during a gunfight. Now, the reason why I didn't go and look up his video and put it on for y'all is because he reportedly shot at police twice while LAPD fired a total of 64 rounds, a move Simpson argues was excessive. It was excessive. I agree with you. But at the same time, if my argument has always been, if you are unarmed or not currently posing a threat, that's where my issue comes in. So if your son was armed and posed a threat, not just by pointing, but firing multiple times at the police, they're going to respond. And so I feel like at this particular point, I don't really want to push too hard on that. Like I do think 64 rounds is a little much. I do think that if this was a young white boy, they might have tried to do something differently, of course. But I think we have to keep our argument focused. That is to say, let's start with all of the unarmed people who are not even facing the cops and getting gunned down in their backs. Let's start there.
Yes.
That's my position. Okay, so now we never hired them to be the representatives in the fight for justice for our dead loved ones murdered by the police, the joint statement read. The activists, in quotation marks, have events in our cities and have not given us anything substantial for using our loved ones' images and names on their flyers. We don't want or need y'all parading in the streets, accumulating donations, platforms, movie deals, etc., off the death of our loved ones, while the families and communities are left clueless and broken. Don't say our loved ones' names, period. That's our truth. The statement also accuses ambulance chasing attorneys like Crump, whose profile has skyrocketed due to his work with families affected by police violence, of misleading the impacted families. Rice says she fired Crump 6 to 8 months after he worked her son's case. Of course, that's not how it's represented in the media. I didn't understand that he had ever been fired or removed from the case. Pretty sure he advertises it like, no, that he's still on that case. That's the implication. I don't know. Yeah, it sounded like he was fighting that good fight till the bitter end. He was not. 6 to 8 months. She fired him. But in the last year, Crump has been involved in the cases of George Floyd, Jacob Blake, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. On Tuesday, he held a press conference with Daisha Smalls, whose 1-year-old was accidentally shot by a Houston police officer this month. I'm going to cover that probably next week, y'all, because I'm waiting for some more details to come out. His fame is reliant on the deaths of unarmed Black people, and that's precisely Rice's problem. Let's get down over here, and I am going to show y'all her tweet while I continue. Did I pass the tweet? There is the tweet. There we go. Okay. The statement continues with the following list of demands. We demand accountability from everyone mentioned with the following demands. Number 1, step down from the spotlight of our fights. Do not do any more interviews, make any more t-shirts and selling them for profit, by the way, or hold any more press conferences or events in the name of our loved ones. Do not use our loved ones to market any events. Stop clout chasing and ambulance chasing these families. Number 2, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles should pay me, Lisa Simpson, as I am the mother of Richard Reicher. Catch this. They had a press conference for the 49-day encampment when my son, Richard Reicher, first got killed. They campaigned to raise $5,000 for my son's funeral. I never received 1 penny of the money they raised.
So
Hold on, let me finish this real quick.
I'm sorry.
Of that, Shar, on top of that, they kicked me off the encampment because they did not like how I chose to fight for my son. Imagine that. Imagine that, Shar. No, sorry, I wanted you to know they raised $5,000, but while they were doing that, they kick her off of the encampment where they're raising the money. And then don't give her a dime.
I'm confused. I don't know what to say. what they're saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, you do not represent your son well enough. Only we can do that. So you step aside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? Wow. And what was
Right.
this money for?
Where did the money? Well, apparently it was to, give this young boy a great funeral. I mean, that's not where it went, but that's apparently what it was for, right?
Oh,
Just like you would think all the money you're donating to Black Lives Matter would go to help support organizations like the one that's addressed in number 3 here. So number 3, financial assistance for the Tamir Rice Foundation from all who have exploited Tamir Rice. Tamika Mallory, Sean King, Benjamin Crump, and Black Lives Matter Global Network. Samaria Rice, purchased the building in 2018, and it needs remodeling, operational funds, bulletproof windows for the lower level, HVAC cooling and heating systems, commercial flooring, restrooms, doesn't have restrooms, furniture, piano repairs, new internal doors, etc. Okay, wait, hold on. Because I would think that if they were raising money, that there's a foundation that they do actually refer. I've heard them refer to it. That some of that money would go towards supporting the foundation or the efforts of the foundation, but none of the money go to this foundation. Right, for the name that jump started their movement. Okay. Number 4, housing funds for Lisa Simpson as I am battling homelessness with my current children. My son Richard Reicher was killed by LAPD and I was offered no assistance from Black Lives Matter. I am currently living in a motel with my children and need funds for housing. 5, support the Tamir Rice Foundation and make all requested donations there instead of directly to Black Lives Matter, who give the money to no one but themselves. 6, send personal donations to the cash apps of Samaria Rice and Lisa Lee 693. In short, activists can show their support by offering direct financial support to families suffering the results of police violence instead of nebulous funds going to nebulous operations. Now that the strain of Black activism is becoming increasingly corporate, who can blame them? And I say the same thing. I would have sworn. So you raised $5,000 for the funeral, right?
right.
And then you don't give the money to the woman. So now she's got to try to do something to pay for the funeral of her child. Okay, which puts her into a terrible financial position. She's got other children to support and whatever. So now they're still in a terrible financial position. You raise the $5,000. You don't give it to her for the funeral. You don't give it to her, even a fraction of it afterwards to try to help her out. But y'all talk about the fact that you support the families of the victims of violence, the victims of police violence, the victims. You talk about this constantly, Black Lives Matter. Y'all talk about it.
You know what? I think you misread it. That's what it was, Ruby. You misread it. They don't support, they report. That's what it is. See, that's that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Must be, because that is tragic. And you know what? I'm so glad Samaria Rice came forward, because if she hadn't, they would be able to continue using her son's name and his experiences in vain constantly, right? Acting like somehow she's part of this movement, like she's in there, because that's the implication. I never saw this coming. I didn't. I mean, and I say it constantly. I don't join groups for a reason. I would never join. I don't believe or support Black Lives Matter. Not the statement, but the group.
Yes.
Because I think it has been bastardized and taken over long ago, and it has nothing to do with Black lives. It has nothing to do with the young Black men it supposedly cares about. So I don't support the movement, but I never would have thought this. This is incredible.
Wow. Yeah. I'm speechless. I'm glad that she did come out. I'm with you on that, because not too many people would have known. They're still going around parading. When I hear the name or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, they're still, gonna do something. They're still gonna try to fight for justice. Okay, all right. It's just us, all right, just them. Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I have a little report on some troopers still in the law field. And they do what they do, which is normally bad stuff. And I don't know, social media is going to get them. I don't know why they keep using text and post and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why they keep doing that. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. Okay, so we got some state troopers here. Louisiana state troopers bragged about beating black man in text messages. Now, come on now. When you go to work, you go to work and like, man, I really, I really told my supervisor off today. Yeah, me too. I told mine off too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I put a a thumbtack in his chair. You did? I think I'm gonna do that too. I mean, do you text back and forth to your coworker? Come on, this is just ridiculous. But I'm glad that this, is out here. Here we go. Several Louisiana state troopers text each other about beating up a black suspect when he surrendered following a high-speed car chase. According to the filings that were first reported earlier this month by local blog Sound Off Louisiana, State Trooper Dakota DeMoss sent a text to 3 other white officers about a ass whooping. That's what it says, given to Antonio Harris. The Hill reported Louisiana State Police wrote in the filing that the exchange came after Harris was sent to jail. DeMoss bragged about the beating with fellow officers Jacob Brown, who resigned Friday, and George Harper. How was his attitude in jail? Fellow officer Jacob Brown asked. Complete silence, Trooper George Harper replied. Ha ha ha, LOL. He was still disgusted after that ass whooping, DeMoss said. It's going to take him a couple of days, and he's going to be sore tomorrow for sure, Brown added. He won't run from a grown bear again. BT, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at something else, sorry. Bet you he doesn't cross in LA anymore, DeMoss says. Harper then says Grizzly, nah, he gonna spread the word that's for sure. That's for damn sure. I don't know what kind of code. Well, it's code. I know they texting. Okay. All right. DeMoss also added, he's gonna have nightmares for a long time. Brown then texts LMAO. Warms my heart knowing we could educate that young man. So beating down someone that you have in custody is educating. That's what this is. Oh, well, pardon me. I didn't know that's what this is. So that's why your education led to resignation of one, and then the other 2 are in trouble. But you call it education. So this is the stuff that continues to happen. You serve the public. If you're not trusted with the public, why is it even a question that we need you? We can't trust you. It's like a bank robber working for a banker. Well, we're going to do an investigation. We know he's allegedly stole $10,000, but until we get to the bottom of this, just punch in every day, okay? Go over there. There's your drawer. Just punch in. What sense does that make? And this just continues over and over again. This is where's the people at? This is a hate crime.
Yeah.
What's going on? I am so tired of hearing this type of stuff, and they're getting away with it. What was it? Their personal device? That's another question I have, because if it was something that was issued at work, you can fire them on the grounds of them using property from their job in the wrong way. People, companies do that all the time, but it's only convenient when they want to. I understand. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Well, see, remember, right, that
Mhm.
it's only illegal for you to say terrible things about others, or to glorify in their pain or suffering or whatever, if you are saying it about cops, right? Like you can't even hurt a cop's feelings without them arresting you for something, right? Some trumped up charge because you hurt their feelings today, right? But
They
cops,
sensitive, yeah.
yeah, right. A cop can say anything they want to you
And
about you,
text.
right? In text, they could email it, man. They could paint that on their car and drive around with it. Okay, let's be real. They have zero accountability, zero whatsoever. And I feel like when they pretend that they're really disciplining these guys, I feel like it's just all a show, right? Like until everyone stops looking directly, and then they just transfer them to another county or something. They're well suspended without pay, but they're actually really getting paid. Like that's what I honestly think. I don't really think that they care, and the reason why
Oh no.
I think they don't care for the fact that how do I say this? Okay, I think that they don't understand the way that prejudice and racism and the effects of that. I don't think they understand how that's all connected. So for them, for example, someone just making a bunch of racist jokes, well, they're just jokes. They don't understand how that influences the mind. Or they're just joshing around. They don't really mean that. They don't understand how that influences the mind, how that makes you say, "Ooh, I got a lot of social validation for that. I should do it again tomorrow for more social validation." Like they don't understand the impacts of it. And when I say they, I mean like the powers that
Yeah.
be, right?
Yes.
So therefore, they don't really see this as a problem. They see this as just a bunch of PC crying, right? When we complain or
Yes.
when we point this out. And so until they understand that connection fully, I don't think anything's going to change, honestly.
I'm with you on that.
Right?
Unless, yeah, we got to do something. If we don't do anything, I just put it that way. If you think back when it was someone accused, and I do mean just accused, that a woman from the dominant society was mishandled,
Mhm.
they will rally up the troops in the middle of the night and go to that person looking for them. They'll terrorize the community, the town. And until we reverse that and do the same thing, well, I'm just saying you're not gonna get the results that you want. Just
Oh
saying.
no. Oh no, not at all. And I think that that's part of the issue too, right? Is we're fighting so many battles at once. Like how do we even address this? How do we get there?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, but I will say this is not something that was just happening in the past, because this is what happens too. People say, "Oh, that used to happen." Sorry, Ruby, y'all are over exaggerating. That doesn't happen now. That used to happen. Okay,
Okay.
well, let's talk about the most recent account. I wasn't, it's funny. I pulled this one up. It was like a just in case. But no,
Okay.
it's a good lead in. So let's do this one. Um, oh no, it's not the right one. See, this is what happens. So many stupid tabs. So many tabs. You gotta find it. I was just on it. That's the worst part. I was literally just looking at it. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. I noticed if you click on that tab last, then it will open. It should be at the top. I swear I'm a professional. Okay. All right, so take a look. There you go. West Virginia woman cleared in false abduction trial. Now, if you want to know if the dominant society can say and do whatever they want and ruin people's lives and still get away with it in any context,
Mm-hmm.
let's listen to this story. All right. So, West Virginia woman was cleared on Monday of charges that she made up a story about an Egyptian man trying to kidnap her child in a shopping mall. A Cable County jury found Santana Renee Adams, 25, of Milton, not guilty of falsely reporting an emergency news outlet reported. For the record, this is crazy. Okay, Adams was initially hailed as a hero. Okay, this chick was initially hailed as a hero after claiming she used a gun to thwart the attempted kidnapping of her 5-year-old daughter at a mall in Barboursville in April of 2019. She told authorities that the man tried to drag the girl away by her hair, but her story unraveled when no witnesses were found and surveillance videos didn't support her claims. Okay. Now, the next sentence tells you everything you need to know. The man was released from jail. That means he went to prison before they investigated, because all they had to do is look at the surveillance video and say, oh, none of that happened. But they didn't. They arrested him first, put him into jail. God knows how much of his life that ruined, right? And then they did charge her because, they can do that. I mean, they should do that. It's literally illegal for you to pretend the crime happened and didn't happen.
Right.
Right. And then Adams reiterated her allegations in court Friday that the man grabbed her daughter by the ponytail, which is when Adams said she pulled out a gun and told the man, let go. Right. But again, nothing supports her story. Nothing. There's no evidence that this happened whatsoever. And what was the end result? She was cleared. She was cleared of to all charges. But she made it up. But see, this is what happens. You put this in front of the judges in the current dominant society, in front of the prosecution of the current dominant society, and the juries of the current dominant society, and they look at this face and they go, she would never tell a lie. Here's all the evidence she's lying. But, I mean, come on. You know how threatening those people are. She probably thought that's what was happening. She probably just misremembers it. He probably was trying to attack her, though. That's what happens.
It was just a misunderstanding. Nothing to see here, folks. She goes home.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Each and every time.
Every time. And let's stop pretending again that this isn't happening all the time, that it's not continuing to happen, that we're in a post-racial world. All of that's nonsense. It happens constantly. And you know what? When we think that, maybe it's in rape allegations and those are difficult to prosecute and, it's he said versus he said. What about this? There's surveillance video that this didn't happen. But the woman said this, it happened. They arrested that man. They put him in jail. They ruined his life. They ruined his reputation. He probably lost his job. Maybe his wife left him. His friends will forever be scared of him because this woman was now cleared of all charges, right? So it's kind of like you're walking around with this cloud over your head for the rest of your life, because how do you shake off those allegations as a Black man walking around in the world that you try to kidnap a little girl?
Right. And that's what they're going to associate the rumors, what they heard every time they look at you. That's messed up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, in case y'all were wondering, we're not in a post-racial society. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just your imagination. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, this guy, he did it the wrong way. I mentioned it, but he didn't know how to do it. He should have emailed me. Let's see what's going on here.
A landlord in Albany, New York, who was apparently fed up with the eviction moratorium rules amid this pandemic, is now facing charges for literally abducting 2 of his sleeping tenants and leaving them in the cold in an empty cemetery over the weekend. This happened here in the United States. And the way that it happened was so vicious, so violent, so cruel that, The landlord, 48-year-old Sean Douglas, has been charged with kidnapping and allegedly tying up 2 tenants with zip ties and tape, placing pillowcases over their heads and driving them at gunpoint to a rural cemetery in Columbia County, where he dumped them in the snow before dawn on Sunday. And that's according to law enforcement sources and police records. Luckily, he was arrested. 2 other people helped him do this, although no other people have been arrested. And the kidnapping occurred between 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay, so you laugh at me. I about it, but I am very serious. I am very serious. Now, he did it the wrong way. He picked the wrong hours. So you have to go between 1 and 3. The hours, it means something. There's different realms of sleep. You have to do it a certain way. And then you don't keep the people conscious. You got to knock them out. They can't be conscious. Saying he did incorrect. Then 3, you don't do it yourself. You get you some strong guys, get your van, everybody dressed in black, and there's no talking. I wish he would have emailed me. I would have helped the brother out and told him how to do it. He had the right idea, but he just did it incorrectly.
Yeah. Only Shar. Guys, did you ever think in your life when Shar gave this advice like a year ago, right, that you would actually see it in any context for real in the real world? Did y'all? I can't even. It's so funny.
He just did it the wrong way. That's all. That was all. Say it's beautiful. It's the thing to do. Now, as far as the serious part of it, okay, I do understand it is the pandemic and that eviction moratorium is out and people are sitting in your household for a long time and you're not getting any money, any income. I'm sure some of that is for not only your mortgage for the building or the house, whatever the tenants are staying in, but it's also part of your livelihood. Mm-hmm. And there's no hold off for you. Only thing you get is foreclosure. That's what you get if you don't pay. So I do know it is a serious matter. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I understand his frustration, but they wrong for titling him landlord kidnapper. That is, you take kidnapper off and just put landlord. That's it. You scratch that off there. Don't pay attention to that. Yeah, just scratch it off. Just scratch it off. You don't see it. You don't see it. And if it's done correctly, no guns. You don't need a gun. See, I wish he would have emailed me. Okay, if you guys want to know how to do something, just email me at JustAskChar@gmail.com. I have good advice. I'm telling you. I give you a lot of advice if you just email me. Seriously.
That is true.
Going back to the serious side of this, he did do it incorrectly. You don't use any gun. See, that's why I said you got to knock the person out. They don't need to be conscious. They don't need to know anything. They just wake up. Wait, I'm at a cemetery. What the world? How did I get here? That's all they need to know. But again, I do get that it is a frustration and people are doing a lot of things. Unfortunately, he went a little too far with this and he's going to end up paying because, they're going to give him some time. They're going to do something to him. He's not going to get away with a fine and go on off. So he's going to end up losing that property. And I'm sorry to hear that, but hey, I'm just saying. And
I mean, okay, listen. When you originally brought this up, which makes me seriously suspect that he actually is a subscriber, let's be real. I think he's a subscriber. But what happened was, right, he heard the show and he kept mental notes, right? But mental notes. He didn't write down all the steps. And right? And then he got it in him, probably with a little bit of liquid courage, you know. I'm gonna do what Shar told me to do, right? But he couldn't remember which video it was. And it was just
Ah,
getting later and later, and he started to panic and say, "Yo, you know what? Listen, I'm sure I remember enough. I'm sure I remember. I'm just gonna go forward with what I remember, right?" And then he ran with that. And so that is the problem, y'all. Y'all can't just take, you know, a tenth of the advice. You have to listen to the whole advice, right? I mean, because in the show we did address the whole Shar, you're gonna go to prison if you do this. I know we addressed it because I'm the one who said it, right?
yes.
I was horrified. You can't do this to people. Like, I understand they ain't paying you or whatever. You can't do this to people. And Shar made sure she had a rebuttal for every one of my rebuttals that shut me down. So if he had gone back and listened to the show and taken detailed notes, he would have been okay. Ruby does not
Yeah.
support this behavior, though. I'm going to be 100 with you. Ruby does not support kidnapping people or removing them, drugged or otherwise, from the home and abandoning them somewhere because they're not paying their rent. Ruby doesn't support this behavior. But I'm saying if you're going to do something, at least do it right. You know?
That's right. You know, it's the principle. It's principalities. Smoke
Right. Yeah, right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh my god.
My man.
Oh, that's good. That was really good. Y'all,
I'm gonna write to him. I think I'm gonna write to him. Go ahead.
you should, right? I mean, for next time, right? I mean, obviously he's already done what he did today, but like for next time, you'll know how to do it better, sir. Right? I think that's fair.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Okay. So let's move on.
Okay.
Now, okay, I guess my question for y'all, because I'm not sure if everyone has heard of the Asian massage parlor shootings or not. Um, I know I have, and I think that this is going to end up being one of those really interesting cases where you actually do want to watch maybe the trial, like how we watched OJ. You want to watch the trial and see what unfolds here because Buddy
Yeah.
seems incredibly ready with his defense already. Okay. I'm just waiting for the what's it called? The ad to go through. And then we're gonna do some coverage of the Asian massage parlor thing. And you know what? There's a bunch of stuff I want to highlight with this because this is definitely one of those stories that has highlighted in the discrepancies between, for example, the way Black folk and everyone else is treated and whatnot by the police. But okay, so let's start here. What I want to do is I'm going to tell y'all about this guy. His name is Robert Aaron Long, and he's a 21-year-old man-child. I don't know. I don't know how to phrase him because the way that he thinks, I feel like it's very childish and immature. But part of that, and again, we're going to get into it. Part of that has to do with his upbringing, actually, interestingly enough. Yeah. And so let us see here. Have you guys, sorry about this. I'm having my computer, my laptop doesn't like me. I'm figuring this out. Like it's really against me. But it's all right. We're going to get through this. But yeah, have y'all heard about the fact that Georgia has a slightly different hate crimes law than I think other places? Let's take a look at that first.
Okay.
There we go. So, and the spa shootings is basically going to be the first test of it. So, in other places, if you commit a hate crime, so let's say I murder someone because they are Black or white or whatever, right? So that is a hate crime. It's a different crime than just regular murder. But in Georgia, the way that their hate crime law works is that you actually would be charged with murder. If you're found guilty of the murder, then you go through like almost like the penalty phase to prove that it's a hate crime murder. So it's not all attached together. You have to prove that someone committed the crime first, and then you have to prove separately that it was a hate crime. And so that's the way it's currently set up now. And so what they're saying is, okay, well, what we're going to do at this point then, obviously, is we need to test out this law and see how it works. That's what they're thinking. And it seems to me like the police are very invested, Char, in making sure that this young man, 21-year-old man, does not get charged with a hate crime. Oh, y'all think I'm kidding? Okay, cool. What we'll do, because then, see, this is the thing. What we're going to do is we are going to listen to the police statement. I want y'all to have the police statement in your head while we're listening to everything else. Okay.
Okay. Now, so Google can improve. It would help to know how satisfied you are with my response. How would you rate it?
That's my Google Echo dot thing. It's just talking at us. I don't know why.
What's going on, girl?
Yeah,
What's happening?
You know how it does, right? Just talk like who's talking to you. It was a free gift from YouTube. I don't know. I don't know how they work it. It's just doesn't like me. Okay, so let's listen to the police statement now. I want y'all to hear this. Okay. Now keep in mind, we're talking about a 21-year-old man, who's gone to 3 separate salons, has killed 8 people, 7 of whom were women, 6 of whom were Asian women. And when they apprehended him, he was on his way to Florida to go to another massage parlor to kill more Asian women. Okay, so let's take a listen to what the police have to say about that.
We got a call about 4:55 yesterday afternoon of shooting in the Bells Ferry 92 area of southwest Cherokee County. Our deputies responded and found multiple gunshot victims. We were able to quickly identify a potential subject from video footage. I was there speaking with the family. They're very distraught, and they were very helpful in this apprehension. We were able to track his phone. Sheriff Billy Hancock from Crisp County is a fellow sheriff and good friend of mine. I reached out to him, anticipating the movement into his county. He was able to coordinate with the Georgia State Patrol and set up a position to intercept our suspect. And that's precisely what they did, a coordinated effort. Sheriff Hancock coordinated with the Georgia State Patrol to quickly pit the vehicle in order to prevent a pursuit. We did interview him last night. He is currently in our facility at the Cherokee County Adult Detention Center. We were able to interview him with the Atlanta Police Department and FBI. He made indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction, and may have frequented some of these places in the past. And but as the chief indicated, it's still early on. We still have a lot of things to process, and so he should be at an arraignment tomorrow at some time early morning to late morning, and we will keep you up to date.
Sheriff, so are you saying when you talk to the suspect, he says he has a sexual addiction issue, but I'm sure you asked him, was this racially motivated? Was this racially motivated?
As the chief indicated, it's still early, but the indicators right now are it may not be. It may be targets of opportunity. Again, we believe that he frequented these places in the past and may have been lashing out. And part of that is in your media pack as well.
Right. Okay. So these were targets of opportunity, y'all. These were targets of opportunity. Whereby he specifically went to only Asian massage parlors. There's lots of hot women everywhere, right? You could have went anywhere else where hot women congregate. But no, he decided he wanted to go only to the Asian ones. But these were just targets of opportunity, had nothing to do with race. This is the one he went to, Young Asian Massage. Maybe he didn't know there was Asians there. No, he did, because it's literally called Young Asian Massage. Okay? Young Asian Massage. But no, don't worry about it. It's not at all racially motivated. Okay. Now, maybe he didn't realize where he was walking into, right? Maybe it was just targeted opportunity. I mean, come on. It's unfair for us to say that this was racially motivated when we don't know. Okay, well, I'm just going to show y'all one more thing. Because again, remember, they said, well, he frequents these places, right? Well, this is what he did before he gunned down several people. And while we're watching the video, I'm going to tell you an account of someone who was there. Okay. There's no sound to the video. Okay. This is surveillance. This is surveillance outside of Young Asian Massage. Okay. Young Asian Massage. There's no question. I'm sure y'all saw too that it's a Young Asian Massage. Okay. Cool. So and if you saw what I mean, right? Very clear what the police just said too, right? Very clear what the police just said. Oh no. And trust me, they're painting him. I'm going to show y'all that right afterwards. They're painting him. This is what this actual article is from. They're painting him like, oh, he's just a choir boy who's lost his way because of the rampant sexuality in society. Okay. Remember, y'all, he sat in his car, got here at 2:30. It's 3:38. Okay. Now he's doing God knows what, adjusting something. Okay. He hasn't gotten out of his car. He hasn't gone in. He's doing something. Okay, great. Now he goes in, right? Guessing there's something big and bulging in his pocket. Maybe it's a gun. So you would think maybe he's walking in there to shoot someone right now. That's what I thought initially. But then I watched the video and I watched the time go by.
Do, 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 do.
Right. 1 hour and 12 minutes later. 1 hour and 12 minutes later. How long does it take to shoot a bunch of people? Right. He's just leaving now. 4:50. He went in at 3:40. So then that means he went in, he got his hour-long massage, and then he shot up the place. That's what happened. That's what happened. So he went, exactly, got his rub and tug and whatnot, and then he shot up the place. Now, I want y'all to understand, okay, that there were people in there who did survive. Marcus Lyon is one of them, right? He had just gotten the first couple little massages on his shoulder when he heard the first gunshot. The woman massaging him went to the door to see what was happening, and she dropped to the floor, blood pouring from her head. So Lyon, 31, hid and kept quiet, right? Just kept hearing more gunshots, more bangs, more terror, basically. Okay. And at that point, he was like, okay, I'm going to have to do whatever I can in order for me to keep myself safe. And he waited till he heard the little ding, 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 ding of the bell on the front door, ran out to his car, grabbed his gun. Okay, guy's gone. So then he called 911. So he's actually the one who called 911, went back inside. There's just a trail of people who are bleeding, who are dead already. There's blood everywhere. Okay. Wow. So this happened. Exactly. So it happened actually very, very rapidly. Very rapidly. Now, that's why I know he went and got a massage. Now I want y'all to see this because I don't see this very often for, I don't know, Black criminals, like ever. The Atlanta spa shooting suspect's life before the attacks, right? Now, when we do see that, normally we see a bunch of gang stuff, rough stuff, something just to paint them as just hardened criminals. Wait, here's his lovely home. Look, it's his home here. Oh, look, there's the American flag. He's a true, red-blooded American like everyone else. He just lost his way a little bit, right? all this
Mm.
devotee of a strict church.
Oh.
Yeah, he's very connected to his church in Milton. Remember, we just read about someone else from Milton. We're going to read about someone else next week from Milton. This is not a great place to raise non-serial murderers, apparently. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, and I want y'all to see, look, there's a church right here. Okay. Milton, Georgia. Oh, look, the Liberty Bell. They're going out of their way to paint him as a great man who lost his way, right? He did
Oh.
one year. Yeah, I know this poor guy. Look, here he is. Oh, he was a great devotee of the church and whatnot, and basically he started losing his mind. He was addicted to sex and porn and whatever. He hated himself for it because at the end of the day, of course, it's all a sin. And his friends were trying to say, like, hey, bro, get some real help, like from people who know how to help, people. And he said, no, I'm going to keep getting Christian counseling. So he bounced from Christian counseling thing to Christian counseling thing to Christian counseling thing, all of it not helping him. He had a girlfriend at one point, and that girlfriend left him in 2019 because he refused to stop going to the massage parlors. Right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So he refused to stop going to the massage parlor. Refused. He could not stop himself. And so I guess he's just, what, we're going to blame the Asian women because they're just too hot. Bro, he was driving to Florida when they got him. Admitted it was to gun down more Asian massage parlors. He's already gone to three. And he was driving to Florida from Georgia to get to a fourth. Not racially motivated at all.
Give me that Asian rub. Give me that Asian rub. That's the kind he wanted. He didn't want any other kind.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Now, people can say whatever they want about this, but I don't care. This is called brilliant PR. And that's what they're doing. They are painting this guy. They realize, oh, we don't want him down in a hate crime. He's going to lose his whole life, right? Right now, he's going to lose like 30 years. So nope. They got articles coming out. The police testifying for him. Oh no, he was just having a bad day. He just had a bad day, and he lashed out at the people because he was just addicted to sex. And that was obviously wrong to kill those 8 Asian women. But it's definitely not racially motivated, guys. Come on, it's not a race thing. Come on.
It's something in your palm, baby.
Yep.
Give me that Asian rub. Give me that Asian rub. Give me that Asian rub.
Like, bro, y'all strict Christians are ruining your children. Okay, strict Christianity does not work in society today. Okay, it is making these incels delusional and just out of their minds, one way or the other. You got them gunning down streets. You got them driving trucks through sidewalks. You got them walking into massage parlors and gunning people down. Like, y'all, it's not working. It's not working. You need to do something different. That's all I'm saying. No offense.
Shame. Hey, Eric. It seems like I'm always speaking to you when it's time to go. I don't know what that is. So must be your schedule. So hope you catch the replay because we're done. We're done.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I should have played y'all the Karens. Listen, we will save the Karen for next week. Karen's always going to be there. I promise.
Oh, yeah. Karen is always in the mix. You'll never run out of Karen.
Oh,
never.
Nope. Hey, by next week, she might have done some more dumb shit. So,
okay. We know how she do it. Well, there's only one officer and that it looks like he may be losing his job. So got to play it on the way out. Just got to. Got to celebrate anytime I can because I'm tired of it. Just tired. So, until next week, everyone. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Oh my goodness. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you are detaining me for nothing. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job. Oh my goodness. It's boy. Is this shit worth you losing your job? Cause you bought to. Cause you ain't got no reason.